I honestly think it's still AJ. But the thing is, those two guys, in the position that they're at right now, they are worth a lot. Maxx Crosby, if you're going to make a trade for a 30-year-old DN who still has a lot left in the tank, you're going to have to give him an absolute astounding contract. But you got to trade for him first, and that value alone is going to be minimum one first round pick. That may be a first round pick, a second. Like he is going to be worth a lot of value. He's going to be worth high value.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the B Team Podcast. We got Mike over there at his
Hey,
humble abode. We got me down here in the studio. Mike, we got plenty to talk about with trades. We got DJ Moore heading to Buffalo. AJ Brown and Maxx Crosby up in the air. We have Kyler Murray, who's going to have a new location. And then we have the Rams just basically, relinquishing all right to any new rookies. And that goes for every year. But first, Mike, before we get into all that today, I need to give a shout out here, and I think everybody knows who I'm going to shout out. Tanzo's Beverage Bethlehem. They're the best. Today, they gave us a Moscow Mule via Athletic. Very excited to try that at the end of the show. But get over to Tanzo's Beverages. In 2 weeks, they will actually be having their spring kickoff with the slushies. It'll be half off slushies. So make sure you get over there and get in on the action. Get over to Tanzo's Beverages. Yeah, they actually just released a Surfside variety 12-pack of all half and half flavors. So that is, speaking from prior knowledge, I've tried them. Fantastic. I would definitely give them a try, give them a shout. Head over to Tanzo's Beverages today. If you see me there, if you see Mike there, force us to buy you a slushie. Maybe we'll do it. All right, Mike, let's get into the show. Tanzo's Beverage Bethlehem. It's brought to you by them. I want to start here, Mike, with DJ Moore. That's the big news today. He recently this morning was traded by the Chicago Bears to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo receives him and the 2026 fifth-round pick of Chicago, and Chicago is receiving Buffalo's second-round pick in this draft. What were your initial thoughts on this move?
oh, me personally, I think Chicago absolutely fleeced. Even though, you're getting a second round pick for 2026, it's still really good value. You're freeing up a lot of cap space. I believe they're freeing up around 16.5 million in cap space. And it didn't work. I don't think the DJ Moore experience in Chicago worked. It didn't seem like it was him and Caleb really had a good connection going on. He came in with Justin Fields. Me personally, I really think he's on the decline. I know he's technically a wide receiver one. I don't listen. I just don't think he's as good as people really think and have him out to be. And again, I just don't think it really worked at Chicago. I think Roma Dunze was more so taking over that wide receiver one role. Cole Kmet, obviously, or Loveland, and obviously all the other guys on the team. It just didn't seem like a good fit. And even though him and Caleb, they had their moments. He had that big catch against the Packers. Chicago really didn't they didn't want him because of his lack of effort on offense. So for Buffalo, I think it's good because now they at least have someone that they can depend on. But are they really good? Are they expecting that typical wide receiver one volume like a Justin Jefferson or someone like a Jamar? How is he going to look in that system? How much attention and how many targets is he going to get a game? I kind
Yeah,
of look at DJ Moore like a Stephon Diggs type of player. I don't know if he could fit back into that role personally.
So before I want to stay on the Bears here before we get into the Bills, because we will get into the Bills and what this means for them. But I think it's interesting when you look at the Bears. I don't necessarily think this was DJ Moore's fault that he's leaving. I think it's more just the fact that the Bears outgrew him, right? When he showed up in Chicago, it was Justin Fields was the quarterback. The team wasn't very good. No one really knew if they believed in Justin Fields, and turns out they didn't. But then over time, new coach, new quarterback, new offensive coordinators, everything's just slowly changed while DJ Moore has been there. Just from a organization, standpoint, right? The culture standpoint. It's all just he's really been there throughout the entire change. And I think that they just outgrew DJ Moore. Like, he was no longer this group of Chicago Bears guy. And I think it was a good move for both. The Bears opened up a lot of cap space, and, they are now going to let Rome and Luther Burden and Colson Loveland all shine, while DJ Moore gets a chance to go show everyone that he can still be a wide receiver one. And for him, and now we can get into the Bills here. You can make the argument that Josh Allen is truly the most proven quarterback he's ever played with. Like, this could be, and it's important to remember, he had his 2 best seasons as a pro with Joe Brady as his offensive coordinator in Carolina. I'm pretty sure, he went over 1,100 yards both years and was averaging nearly 20 yards per catch in 2020. So, like, Joe Brady clearly knows how to get the best out of him, and it wasn't like the Carolina Panthers were working with all pros and, NFL All-Stars out there the years he was there. There's a reason why they allowed him to leave, because, that team was a shambles. So I think that the Bills, adding him to a wide receiver room of Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, who he played with in Carolina, I think this is a really good move for the Bills. Although it looks like they gave up a lot, I think when you look at what they lacked last year, this is kind of what they lacked. And I know they're really putting a lot of marbles into this basket, but I like the move a lot for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent. I think what they paid for him, I don't think he's worth that. So Chicago gets $16.5 million back. I think that's really good for them because they can shift their focus on possibly a new center since Drew Dahlman now retired at the age of 27.
Crazy.
Or they can go towards, looking at more defensive players on, the D-line, linebacking core or whatever. But Buffalo, I mean, again, by the numbers, they're taking on $24.6 million just for 2026. Granted, if he stays for 2027, they're going to pay him a $15.5 million in a guarantee. So you kind of have to put him at wide receiver one, and you have to give him that production. The way I look at the Buffalo offense is I think Shakir is the number one guy on that team. I kind of still think he is, in my opinion. Keon Coleman, we have yet to really see him shine to the player that they want him to be. Curtis Samuel, I still think Josh Allen's going to spread the ball around. I don't think he's going to be feeding DJ Moore 12 targets a game, 10 targets a game. I just don't see that. If I had to just predict a, stat line, end of the year stat line for DJ Moore, maybe 800 to 900 yards, maybe a little bit around that range, about 5 to 6 touchdowns. Like, I don't see him taking on a crazy wide receiver one role. I mean, maybe it's a good thing because they have the weapons to dish out, and anyone can make anything happen on that offensive side. Again, I think Khalil Shakir is going to be solid. They have James Cook in the back as a running back. So obviously Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. It's just, again, is the money going to be worth it? You got to already pay Josh Allen however much he's getting. So we'll see, man. It could be a 1-year rental, see if it works, and then possibly a new contract after. Maybe they fix it up a bit, but I more so like the move for Chicago, but it's not a bad move for Buffalo. It just helps Josh Allen out a little bit.
No, and I agree. And just speaking on the wide receiver one role, I know everyone's expecting him to. You and I both expect him to be wide receiver one, but he's also going to a situation where Shakir has clearly been the wide receiver one over the last couple of years. And, I mean, this easily could be a duo that's just created like George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I'm not saying to that extent of production, but you could say that both guys could be the wide receiver one on that team. Like, not necessarily each week is one guy going to explode when, the other guy is over there maybe just taking some pressure off of him. So I do see where you're coming from. I like the move for both sides. Chicago now, interesting situation. What are they going to do with this newly found cap space? I think they do have to replace that center immediately with the best possible player they can, especially having a young quarterback that likes to scramble and create shit out of thin air. So that would be a huge move for them going forward. But let's move on here. I want to get into the A.J. Brown, Maxx Crosby stuff. My biggest question here for you, Mike, right off the bat is, who do you think is really going to get traded first? Because we've been seeing this news for probably like 3 or 4 months now, honestly since November, that these two kind of wanted out, but they kind of didn't want out. It's never been really concrete what side of the fence they were on, and neither team really has to get rid of them. they could hold on to them if the right deal doesn't come around. So it's an interesting situation. I want to get your thoughts on this. Who's more likely to leave at this moment?
I, I I honestly think it's still AJ. But the thing is, those two guys, in the position that they're at right now, they are worth a lot. Maxx Crosby, if you're going to make a trade for a 30-year-old DN who still has a lot left in the tank, you're going to have to give him an absolute astounding contract. But you got to trade for him first, and that value alone is going to be minimum one first round pick. That may be a first round pick, a second. Like he is going to be worth a lot of value. He's going to be worth high value. I just think AJ after June 1st, I just don't see him. Like, it's tough because the financial situation where both of these teams are in. Do the Eagles want to trade him before June 1st and have a $40 million cap hit, or post June 1st where it's around $20 million cap hit, which is still it's a lot. And when you think of it, like that's $20 million just to ship somebody off at that point. But obviously getting stuff in return. So it's hard, man. I just personally, I don't see Max leaving. I just think Max, like the Raiders have to be absolutely blown away to even think about trading Maxx Crosby. He's just that good of a player, that good of an impact player. Not saying AJ Brown isn't, because he is too, but he's been a Raider his whole life. He's only 30, bro. Like it might seem old in the NFL. 30 as a DN, it's not. He's probably got another like 3 years of like prime electric Maxx Crosby in him. So I personally think it's AJ. I want to hear your thoughts on it. I don't know.
No, so when I go back and forth between this, I mean, AJ Brown, Howie wants a first-round pick and a second-round pick for him, which it's a lot. It's a lot. And there's not many teams that can offer that and, look at it as a responsible move, right? But at the same time, you're getting an AJ Brown who, year in, year out, when he gets thrown the football, he's elite. He proves that he's elite. Now, he's been playing with a guy who can't really throw the football in Jalen Hurts. So you can't you got to take some of these games with a grain of salt where he's putting up maybe one catch for 5 yards, right? Because there's another 17 throws that are thrown behind him. But if we stick strictly with A.J. Brown here, I just want to point out something for you. Devontae Adams at the age of 30 and Tyreek Hill at the age of 28 both went for a first and a second or other picks, right? So they went for big packages, and we're looking at a similar situation here with A.J. Brown. And when you look at it and you look at the state of the league right now and how the offenses are run, is A.J. Brown more valuable than a Devontae Adams? Is he more valuable than a Tyreek Hill?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And the thing is, like, when we get closer to the draft, Howie will probably realize that Howie's not going to lowball right off the bat. Oh, we just need a second round pick for AJ Brown. He's obviously going to put a premium right off the bat just to throw the rumors out there. I think once we get towards the draft, a first and a second teams might not be wanting to pay that. Will they maybe want to be paying a first round pick? I can see that without the extra premium picks. I can see that. It's just going to take time to kind of simmer. If someone bites off the bat and someone throws a trade for that, a first and second in 2027, second 2028, yeah, they're going to pounce on that and they're going to run away. They're going to take that deal and run away.
Like, my thing is, I think Howie threw all this information out there, made sure it got out that they wanted a first and a second round pick or a big package that is almost equivalent to that. I think he threw that out there because he knows no one can do it. He knows no one responsibly will do that, right? But if he can, pull something off that's close to it,
exactly,
right, it's worth it, because A.J. Brown has been a problem in the locker room. He's created controversy, right? You don't need that in the locker room. It kind of brought their season down when you look at the big picture. So I don't blame Howie for going out there and saying, "Yo, we want a first, we want a second, we want 2 firsts, we want
make it known,
maybe a first and 4 other picks," right? He wants it. He wants a big package here, and reportedly, the Patriots offered them something for A.J. Brown in the last couple of days. So we'll see what transpires here. But my biggest takeaway if they find something for A.J. Brown, can Devontae Smith be trusted as wide receiver 1 in Philly?
I think so.
Yes, absolutely. So. Listen, I would trust him more as a wide receiver 1 than DJ Moore, if you want to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. I honestly, personally think DJ Moore is just as good as AJ Brown. I truly believe that. I said it for years, ever since. Like, he can absolutely excel in that wide receiver 1 role, no doubt about it.
And that's what I was going to ask you as well. Like, is DJ Moore, did this trade, did that affect anything with the AJ Brown trade? Because he only went for a second round pick.
right?
Yes and no. I feel because I feel like everybody knows that AJ Brown is clearly better and has more to give than DJ Moore, productivity wise. So again, I don't blame. I agree with you though. I don't blame Howie for at least just throwing a number of value out there for what they want for AJ Brown like a month and a half before the draft, just so people know, hey, listen, we are willing to shop AJ Brown. Here's, give us a shout. We could talk business, we can negotiate, we can go from there. I'm telling you, close to the draft time, if he's still with the Eagles, he's gonna get traded.
Yeah, that's just being a good GM. So when you look at the other side of this, Maxx Crosby, he's the one that I know you were saying you don't think he's going to get traded. They have to keep him. I think he gets traded because there's going to be teams that are willing to give up, 2 firsts, maybe a first and a second or a couple late round picks. There's going to be someone that does it. You look at teams like the Rams, right? They already got rid of 1 first round pick. They still have 2 others. People forget they have 2 other first round picks this year, right? There's someone that could easily be like, hey, we're going to throw another first round pick at this, and here, while we're at it, take our 3rd and 4th because we don't need it, right? The Rams have kind of proven that you can pay your quarterback and also build a team if you draft right and you move your pieces around correctly and your money around correctly and build a culture, right? And that's what they've done, so they can keep on winning year in and year out. And now they have 2 first-round picks that they could play with. I wouldn't be surprised if they go in for Maxx Crosby. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a bigger name go to the Rams before the draft. But then you look at the Cowboys as well. Cowboys and Bears, they both just cleared a ton of cap space. The Bears have a few picks that they could throw out there. The Cowboys have 2 first-round picks and a number of late-round picks. Like there's a couple teams, and honestly, those might be the only 3 that I think could realistically go in for Maxx Crosby because none of them will go in for A.J. Brown. It would be hilarious if the Cowboys went in for A.J. Brown, but they wouldn't. So I think all 3 of them are going to be in the running for Maxx Crosby. Will they do it? I don't think so. I think the most likely one is the Bears. I know we were talking about with Lucas earlier. I'm seeing more stuff on the Cowboys going after Trey Hendrickson because it's a cheaper option and they'll have to give up less than going for a Maxx Crosby. Because if we can go get Trey Hendrickson, all of a sudden we still have our 2 first-round picks and we can bolster that defense because this Cowboys defense needs more than just a Maxx Crosby to fix it. It needs 4 or 5 guys, right? We might be 2 or 3 guys away, but we realistically need 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, and you're kind of selling me on that point too, because you look at, again, I'm going to go back to the draft here. You go to the draft, you look at the players that are available in the draft. Defensive wise, all these DNs and these D tackles, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, these guys are going to be going high, top end of the first, 1 to 15 in the first round. So you look at these later picks, like the Cowboys will probably have and the Bears, they're taking a gamble. When you talk about for the Rams, real quick, they love trading their first round picks, but it's working for them. Even though they've won the Super Bowl a couple years back with Aaron Donald once he was still in the league, they're building the right players by using those first round picks correctly. Now they just got Trent McDuffie, who is an absolute shutdown corner. He's fantastic. So there are teams that are overvalue these first round picks, and there are teams that undervalue them. Look at the Jets. The Jets are ones that overvalue the shit out of them because there's they have so many, and then nothing ever transpires with it. So yeah, it's just depending on what the package is going to be for Maxx Crosby and the Raiders. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, I think all this is going to be closer to the draft. It's going to take at least a month to really settle in and see kind of how the market falls. I think Trey Hendrickson, like you said, is a perfect option for the Cowboys. And I think that's one of the first dominoes to fall because he is a cheaper option and you're not going to pay him as much as Maxx Crosby. So good points.
Yeah, so if we want to get into the LA Rams here, since we were just talking about it, you look at their first-round picks since 2015. It's kind of hilarious, Mike. They've only picked 3 times in this time span, right? So 2015, Todd Gurley, Super Bowl champ, was fantastic for them. I mean, he had a 3-year stretch where he was the guy.
And then no one's heard from
him since. Jared Goff was in 2016. So Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, back-to-back. Jared Goff, you could argue, has been, over that time span, maybe a top 15 quarterback, top 20 quarterback in that time span easily. So they hit on that. They traded him and they got Matt Stafford, who's given them nothing but success, won them a Super Bowl. And then 2017 to 2023, 0 picks made. That's just insane. We're talking 6-7 years of no picks. It's unreal. And then you look at 2024, Jared Verse hit. Right? 2025, nothing. But 2026, they already traded one away. They still have pick number 13 and 29. I have a theory on what they're going to do with these picks. I want to hear yours first, but before we get into that, it's interesting when you look at this, right? Because we just said they hadn't picked from 2017 to 2023. Mike, they've been one of the most successful teams
and you know what?
Since 2015.
And guess what?
In terms of making it to the playoffs, right? They're making it into the wild card at least every year. They're losing conference championships, winning Super Bowls, losing divisional round games. That's just a good organization after going basically 10 years of doing nothing. I think that's one of the more impressive things that has gone under the radar.
Yeah, in the NFL in the last 10 years.
The Rams had that 1 year where I think it was post Super Bowl and they just kind of got rid of everyone, where I think they had only like 4 or 5 wins. Next year, they come back, they're back to being elite again. But the thing is, when, again, we look and talk about the draft picks and how they've been using them, look at the guys that they've drafted. Kyron Williams, what was he, a 3rd-round pick? Puka Nacua, what was he, a 4th-round pick? They're hitting on these mid-round players because they have the culture in place. They have the coach in place. So they're probably looking at their front office right now, and they're looking at what they have in ammo. We don't need these. If we can go get a proven guy who, we don't have to just pray and see that he's worth the first and is actually going to succeed. We're in such a good position on offense and defense. Why don't we just start trading our 1st-round picks for guys that are proven and that know that they can play right off the bat? Trent McDuffie is absolutely proven. He, again, Super Bowl champion, a top cornerback in this league. He's been excellent for the Chiefs. It's funny because they're taking the road less traveled in a way where they're trading all their 1st-round picks. They don't really draft much on round 1 and round 2, and they're going for guys that we know can play, and they know their ceiling, they know their floor. So it's interesting to see how they keep bringing these guys in, and they just excel in the system, and it's been working. It's been working for them. Will it catch up to them later in the, down in the future where you're paying all these guys money and guys are retiring and then you have to start drafting? Yes, but they're in a position right now where, like you said, they've lost conference championships. They've they've made the playoffs every single year. Stafford is still elite, just won the MVP. They got room to play around with these picks with. So it's funny seeing how they operate with it. It's way different than what do we expect.
So it's weird because this just hit me when you were talking about it, and it brought it into my brain. The LA Rams are low-key just the Inter Miami of the NFL.
Pretty much.
The rest of the league's like, hey, we got to go develop these guys. We got to make players out of our draft picks. And the Rams are just like, no, we're just going to pick from all over the league with our draft picks. Go ahead, take our draft picks. Take our DP player positions, right? Take all of our draft picks. Take all of our capital. We're just going to take all of your good players. We're going to put them on the field together, and we're just going to kick your ass every single year, basically.
Some tiki-taka shit, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. They went out. They traded a good quarterback for Matt Stafford. Lionel Messi just came in, right? And then they just put people around him, went out, got Devontae Adams. They put Luis Suarez with them, went out and got DePaul, right? It's insane. The
Good analogy. I like that.
It's perfect. It's a perfect analogy. They're the Inter Miami of the NFL. It's insane.
That's a very good analogy.
I do want to get into what I think they're going to do with these picks. So they already traded one, obviously, like we said, and they still have pick 13 and 29. I don't think they will use both of them.
But I don't think they will get
traded before the draft. I think you're going to see one of these picks get traded during it. And it's going to come down to, is Ty Simpson available at 29, right? If they believe Ty Simpson, they can get him at 29, I think 13 gets traded. But if you start seeing quarterbacks go and it's like, all right, Ty Simpson's kind of the only one there, should we get him at 13 and trade 29? I think one of these picks gets traded, but one gets used on Ty Simpson. They got to go get a guy to back up Matt Stafford and start learning, because Matt Stafford's done after this year probably?
Maybe a year or two. Agreed.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with the Rams.
Muller, I got to say this, man. And combine, take it with a grain of salt, but Carson Beck had a hell of a combine, and I'm telling you, I think he's going to sneak up in near 29, bro. I think he's going to sneak up in there. I swear to God, it's that low of a quarterback draft class. Like, someone's just going to take a gamble on him,
Mike,
bro. I have a feeling.
Mike, listen.
I have a feeling.
No, I get it. Someone's going to take a chance on Carson Beck because he got a really good football team into the national championship, lost, but had a chance to win, right? It came down to that last drive, threw up a duck, is what it is. But Carson Beck, we also have to remember, he's like 26 already, 25, right? He's an older quarterback. We saw this with Bo Nix, but Bo Nix even was 24 when he came into the NFL, right? Bo Nix was capable of running. He was just like more of an athlete, right? Carson Beck is an out-and-out pocket passer. Can he run? Can he scramble? Yes. Is he going to? No. Like, how much more can Carson Beck develop when he's in the league, right? And it's really going to become a, I don't know if you saw the Ezekiel Elliott tweet where it basically was like, in the right situation, I would come back to play football. Buddy, Colin Muller could go into the NFL if it was the right situation. Like, what are we talking about here, right? But it's the same thing with Carson Beck. In the right situation, I think he would succeed.
But I don't
see him being a starter. No, I don't see him being good on the Rams.
But I feel like that's.
I feel like if the Rams
take Carson Beck, they're just running back the whole Stetson Bennett challenge. I don't even know what you would call that era of football there, because Stetson Bennett came in there after kind of doing what Carson Beck did, right? He got his team to the national championship. Was he the best player on his team? Probably never, right? Was he even the 10th best player? Maybe, right? So I don't really see Carson Beck going to the Rams and, developing into this all-pro quarterback. Maybe on another team. But we talk about this every week. How many teams really need a quarterback? And once you find your quarterback, how long does that guy normally stay there, right? We're not talking about this. This isn't the Premier League where, okay, you get a top player in there. I keep talking about soccer, but you get a player in there, and it's like, okay, you're going to have 5 or 6 really good years with that guy, and then it's on to the next guy, right? You're constantly developing. The NFL doesn't work like that, right? You find your Ben Roethlisberger, he's there for like 15 years. Barring a catastrophic injury, something terrible happening, he starts sucking out of nowhere, right? Look at Dak Prescott. People give him crap all the time, but he's been here for, 11 years now? Right? Once teams find their guy, they stick with him. So I don't see the Rams going after Carson Beck when you have other guys that are younger and clearly have a bigger ceiling that they could develop to. Like a Ty Simpson, I see his ceiling developing way further than a Carson Beck. So I don't see the point in wasting a first-round pick on a Carson Beck. Maybe a second or third if you really need a quarterback, right, and you're desperate. That's the only time I see it. And it goes to the same thing for Drew Aller, right? Drew Aller's he's not a quarterback that's going to go thrive in the NFL, in my opinion. He's basically what 9 is. He's basically what Stetson. Some of these guys that come into the NFL and they have this, huge persona around them in college football. Like, look at Tim Tebow. They don't work out. Drew Aller he's not accurate enough to play in the NFL. He went out there and had a Zach Wilson-like combine. He was throwing bombs, hitting the ceiling, putting it in a bucket. He's going to get to the first day of NFL football, and he's going to be freaking booty cheeks. It's going to be like watching 9, which we're going to get into that in a second here. I don't know where you stand on Drew Aller. We haven't talked about any of the combine stuff, but I don't know. Did you even see that?
You're cooking. I'm letting you cook. You're cooking. No, Drew. I don't believe in Drew Aller. I don't. He's got the physique. He's got the numbers, but I don't believe in him. No
one should.
He is a 9 squared right now. So yes.
Mike, let me ask you something. Name one Penn State quarterback that has been successful in the NFL as a player.
Christian Hackenberg. No, I'm kidding. Nobody.
Nobody. Penn State doesn't develop quarterbacks. There's a reason why all these guys, they commit to Penn State, and then they're like, oh, shit, what did I do? They decommit, and they end up in the SEC or another ACC school, right? There's a reason why Penn State never gets quarterbacks because they don't develop quarterbacks to be NFL ready. They never have, and it doesn't seem like they ever will. So I'm a Penn State hater, by the way. I don't know if anyone can see that. The only good player they've had in the last couple of years is Micah Parsons. I'll stand on that until Saquon Barkley comes to the Cowboys. Mike, I do have a question for you because we can switch gears here. I want to do a quarterback not draft test, but quarterback. You're just going to choose one of these 3 quarterbacks. I don't know what this would be called. Blind quarterback picker. All right. So quarterback 1, young, powerful, very good arm, elite athlete, but he's unproven. Okay? That's quarterback 1 that you could take. Quarterback 2, coming off a big injury, right? No one really comes back exactly the same, but they can still be elite. All right? But he proved he can play at an elite level as well. All right? Or you could have quarterback 3. He's younger, shorter, quicker, but he has a severe Call of Duty addiction, but he could beat literally anyone if he has weapons around him.
Okay, and I'm just choosing one or the other.
Yes.
I guess number 2 is who I'm going to choose.
Okay, so you picked what's his name? Colts. I'm blanking on. He's in my brain.
Danny Jones?
Yes.
I thought it was Jaden Daniels.
What?
I thought it was Jaden Daniels.
No. Well, he could have fit that as well. But Daniel Jones was 2. Quarterback 1 was Anthony Richardson. Quarterback 3, I think we all know who that one was, Kyler Murray.
That's exactly how I wanted to choose it right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Call of Duty addiction kind of gave it away on my part. But, Mike, who could use Kyler Murray right now? Because the Cardinals got rid of him. He felt bad. He sent a tweet out. It was all soft and nice, colorful. But, honestly, he just never got it done in Arizona.
So
Steelers just released Jonnu Smith. What else is new? Water's wet. All right, let's continue with Kyler Murray.
I just saw that too. So I did a little bit more research on it. And listen, as a Jets fan, I know that Kyler is not the solution. I know that for a fact. I have 4 teams written down who I think would be a good spot for him and a good spot for them, kind of mutual beneficial action, I guess. So I think the Jets I will throw the Jets in there. I'll put away the bias and the hatred I have for Kyler. I will put the Jets in there. I will put Cleveland there. Cleveland's going to be another one. And I have the Vikings and Dolphins. Like you said, there's not that there are teams that need quarterbacks, but it's not as abundant as it used to be, where you have a lot of these other teams where they have someone, they're progressing and developing in a good way. They're not really searching for someone. I mean, there's just a couple of teams, and it's pretty much just them and the Raiders. Clearly, they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza, but Jets, Cleveland, Minnesota, and the Dolphins. That's what I have.
Do you think that the Dolphins are actually going to be willing to take a chance on a quarterback that's short and, looks like he should be able to run a lot, but he can't really?
I
know
do.
Kyler Murray can, but do you think that they'd be willing to really take a shot on someone like Kyler Murray after just going through the whole Tua breakup?
Well, this is the thing I was going to say before. I believe the way that Kyler's contract works is kind of like a Russell Wilson on the Broncos or a Russell Wilson on the Steelers type of ordeal, where if you bring him in, your contract can be as low as like $1.7 million per year, which is enticing because Kyler Murray, he still is young, and I know he has a Call of Duty addiction and he's a midget, but if you can get Kyler on it, and just think about for 4 of these teams, the Jets paying Kyler $1.7 million, obviously you'll be 8 to 9, 10, whatever, for 1 year, or the Dolphins doing the same thing. I think the Dolphins actually would be a great fit for Kyler Murray because you have Jalen Waddle, and you actually will have a mobile quarterback, and you got Achain back there. You can do a lot of things with 2 and 3 speed guys like that. So if that wasn't the case and you had to give Kyler a big contract or you had to take on $20 million guaranteed, I don't think any of these teams make a move for him. But since they have the capability of doing it, I think all these 4 teams can look at Kyler and say, hey, listen, we can use Kyler for a year. See if he's, eligible to play on this team and actually could do something for us on a very cheap deal. That's where, I think these teams will take a gamble on Kyler, like the Jets, like Minnesota, like Miami, and like Cleveland. That's what I think.
So when I look at all 3 of those teams, right, I think that you can cross Cleveland off. I know that they're linked with every quarterback every year, but it's, you have Shador, you have Dylan Gabriel. I think you just got to ride with those guys. I don't see it. And you have Deshaun Watson, who it sounds like is doing great right now. He hasn't hit anybody, hasn't done anything criminally wrong lately, so he's doing really good. But my other thing with the Dolphins and why I think that they're actually the 3rd of those 4 teams is if Mike McDaniel was the coach, I would love it a lot more, but he's not. And I just don't know how that offense is going to, operate next year. I don't know what their plan is with a number of the guys.
Yeah, he can go to the Athletics. He can go to the Athletics for all we know.
That's true. The Athletics said today that they would gladly take him in this year if he wanted to play baseball instead. But I love the Minnesota Vikings. Why? Because they have the coaching, they have the stability, they have the weapons, right? Kyler Murray could go there and thrive. They have a good defense, right? If Kyler Murray goes there, we were joking about it last week about how Green Bay and Jordan Love would be the third best team. I actually think if Kyler's on the Vikings, Green Bay is the fourth best team in that division. I really like him on the Vikings. Now, the Jets one would be interesting because, would Breece Hall come back if Kyler was the quarterback? I think Garrett Wilson would do better with Kyler. I think that offense would be a lot better with Kyler Murray. But, it's the Jets. You know it. I know it. We've gone through this now for how many years on this show? You've done it your whole life. Even you could put Tom Brady in that team with Gronkowski, Randy Moss in his prime. I mean, shit, I'll even give you Emmitt Smith. Take all the GOATs and put them in a Jets uniform, and I don't even know if I would trust that to work out.
So disrespectful.
I'm sorry. But I think Kyler Murray, he's got to be a Viking. If he has the choice about which team he should go to, which he can go to, I think it's got to be Minnesota. And Minnesota, you just came off of basically 12 months of hell. You lost Sam Darnold. He wins a Super Bowl. Your GM literally just outed himself as a fantasy football guy playing real life. And you got to go get Kyler. You can't run it back with 9. That dude's a loose cannon. He gets hurt every game. He misses 3 series every game because he runs into his own lineman and hurts himself. We just go get Kyler Murray, see what happens. If it doesn't work, like you said, it's a low contract. It's probably only a 1-year deal. You can get out of it quick. I don't see the downside in bringing Kyler in for Minnesota.
And that's what makes it, again, that's the overall gist, in my opinion. It's you can get him for so low in financial. And it's funny because when you look at a situation like that, it helps out the rest of your team drastically. You get pretty much 1 year. The salary cap's just going to continue to increase every single year. You're saving a shitload of money for a guy who was picked number 1 overall 5-6 years ago. So, for me personally, I think it's AFC East, Jets, Dolphins, and possibly the Vikings. Maybe Cleveland. They rock with Shador, Gabriel. It all depends on if these guys get traded and whatnot. So, he's a real interesting name to watch, Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, let's get into Capper Facts here.
Capper Facts, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I have 4 this week. And, Mike, I really do like the whole Capper Facts thing. I think it actually is a pretty sick segment.
We kind of nailed this one.
So I got 4 things for you today. All of these kind of were in the last 48 hours. All right. So former Saints pass rusher Cam Jordan is going to hit free agency this afternoon, essentially. The news came out. Is he still a top defensive player in the National Football League, or is he kind of, it's over the hill, he might go ring chasing?
So I'm going to say,
wait, I messed that up, right? Is he still a top defensive player in the National Football League? Capper Facts.
I'm going to call that cap. I think exactly what you said. He's one of those where it's kind of maybe like a Brandon Graham situation. Looking for a winner, looking to be on a winner, looking to be a rotational guy. Does he still have some juice left in the tank? Yes. Can he do it every single down? Maybe not. Nothing on the type of player he is, because he was an absolute beast in his prime. But yeah, I think it's cap. I think there are many other defensive ends I would rather have than him, but he's not a bad one to have. And if you have him on your team, fucking great.
Yeah, if he would take like a Michael Bennett deal where it's very cheap, come on over to the Cowboys. I would take him.
There you go.
What?
There you go. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2, DJ Moore and Josh Allen are a top 10 duo in the NFL right now.
Oh, it's tough, actually.
Top 10
I think it's cap, bro. I still think it's cap. Again, like we talked.
Okay, perfect. This is what I wanted. Give me the 10 guys that you're putting over them.
You like off the top of my head. Jesus Christ. It's all right. Let's see. Oh God.
Okay, well, it doesn't have to be in order. We just got to name 10 10 groupings.
Ready? Dak and CD, Dak and George Pickens. That's 2 right there.
I love that you did that.
Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford and Puka. That's 4 right there. Sam Adams, JSN. That's 5. Pat Mahomes, Rasheed Rice. 6. What else? I got to think.
Can we count that one?
Yeah, I'm taking that over Josh Allen, DJ Moore. I'm taking 100.
Yeah, but I don't even know. Is that even a duo anymore? Isn't Rashee Rice going back to jail?
Pending if he goes back to jail, we're putting it at 5. That's 5 right there.
Okay. Yeah.
My God, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Goff and Amon-Ra. That's another one. Let's see. Hold on, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think in my head.
Are you going to put Caleb and Rome over him?
I thought about it. Let me think of others before I move on to that. I'm thinking AFC. Maybe Herman Ladd.
I would.
I think Herman Ladd or Herman
I would.
Ladd. Oh my God.
It's tough.
Yes. I can't think of the others. There are a couple in my head, but yes, I agree. I do think it's Cap. I don't think they're top 10. I think they're right. They're going to be close.
Yeah.
But again, I don't see them being him being force fed. I don't see it happening.
All right. Number 3. Aaron Rodgers will finally retire this offseason.
I'm going to say facts. I think he wants to go bang his wife. I think he's over football. He just wants to go live his life. I think it's facts. I think this is it from Aaron Rodgers.
Did you saw his quote then, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I think he's ready, dude. It's like, what else you got to do, man? Like, just, it's time. It's time.
Turns out his wife's just like a doll.
I wouldn't be shocked. It's a fucking, never mind. Yes. I was going to go real bad there.
Number 4. This one's kind of just for my personal health. Jerry Jones will sign someone in the next 7 days.
Cap. He's not going to sign anybody.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not signing anyone. Just he already did that last year. He made his big move. Now he's just going to kind of cruise into the draft. Just keep an eye on a couple things. Maybe he'll look at AJ Brown or Maxx Crosby. It's going to be. I'm telling you, I think this draft is going to be so much moving pieces going around. So many moving pieces. So yeah, Cap, Jerry Jones. He's old. He's going to wait.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, Mike, let's give one last shout out to Tanzo's Beverage. Go ahead, get your bevy. Tanzo's Beverage Bethlehem over there off Jacksonville Road. You're going to want to get in there next weekend, the 20th. It's a Friday, first day of spring, half off slushies. Make sure you get over there. Go ahead and have a little spring bash, spring party. It's right after St. Patrick's Day. Go get some slushies for your St. Patty's party. Mike, you got your finger.
Dude, I don't know if you saw the weather. I got 2 things. The weather next week on Tuesday, I think it's a high of 69, 70 degrees. It's going to be beautiful. And you mentioned Surfside slushies, the half and half.
No, not Surfside slushies. They have the Surfside 12-pack.
Brand
new, but it's a half and half pack. It's fantastic. The raspberry flavor is to kill for. The blackberry flavor, is it blackberry? Blackberry. Yep.
I think
it's blackberry, but that one was very good too. Honestly, in my opinion, for that pack, the regular half and half was actually the worst one, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah. They are popular. They sell.
Yeah, plenty of new stuff there. And we're going to be doing our beer review that we were supposed to do last week, but Muller forgot the beers. So, Mike, without further ado, let's get into the Athletic Brewing Company Moscow Mule. This thing looks tasty.
It does.
It just looks tasty. Mike, do you want to give a little read off on the back of the can like you normally do?
Yeah, let's do it. So this is the Athletic Brewing Company Moscow Mule, inspired by the bold flavors of a Moscow Mule. This crisp, refreshing brew is best served over ice and garnished with a wedge of lime, crafted with select ingredients including ginger and aromas of tart lime. It's packed with vibrant flavor at just 70 calories. Raise a glass to a fresh twist on a classic.
Yeah, and my thing is, I know it says that you're supposed to have this with like a fresh lime and all that stuff served over ice, but I think that's unfair. Like if we're just gonna do this one with a garnish and ice, we got to do them all the way they're supposed to be drinking. We're going straight out of the can.
That's fine.
Has to go out of the can. So let's do this. Let's give them some audio.
Beautiful.
That was a good one, dude. It smells pretty good, honestly.
It does. But I get the hint of lime in it. You might not even need a lime with.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah. Honestly, when you smell this, tell me the picture of the place it takes you to. I have one.
Tally ho, baby. Not Kevin.
I was going to say the damn beach, and you followed me up with Tally Ho.
I'm telling you, this is like, on the beach, little beach bar type of. Yeah, that's what I get. That's the scent I get. That's the place it takes me.
Absolutely. And I love the colors on the can. Let's give this thing a try.
Come on, cheers, my boy.
Cheers. Mike, that's good. You don't need a lime for this. I think if you put a lime in this over ice, it's actually too much lime. There's too... You're getting it too, right? There's a little too much lime, right? Could you imagine putting a lime in this?
It's already sour enough. Oh, God.
So just a public service announcement. If you get Athletic Brewing Moscow Mule, do not put a lime in it, or else it will just be a lime with a mule on the side. I don't hate it, though. Like, if it was 99 degrees outside right now, I like this.
I feel like it's like Athletic Brewing. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm just going to apologize in advance. I don't hate your brewing company at all. But Jesus Lord, dude. It tastes like cleaner. Dude, listen, Athletic, you can cancel us, but I'm just going to be real with you here.
This might be the first one that we don't tag the people in it.
Yeah, they'll find us. They'll find us. They'll give us a different one.
All right, one more sip and then let's do this thing.
Oh God.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
5.6.
5.1.
Yeah,
I'd say.
There we go.
So 5.6, 5.1. That puts us at like 5.3.5.
I thought you'd be in like the high 6s, low 7s. It seemed like you enjoyed this, dude. This tastes like fucking bleach.
No, dude. If you only try and find the mule flavor is not bad. They hit on that. But the amount of lime that they pumped into this thing is absurd.
I'm just getting like an aftertaste of like fucking floor cleaner WD-40. I don't even fucking know. I'm pissed off. Now I'm pissed.
I feel
like now I'm angry, dude.
Pretty much. I do you taste that, or is it just me? Because that's the first thing I get.
I agree with you. It
reminds me of when I used to bartend. I pulled out the bleach and I mopped the floor with it, and you get that crazy smell of bleach. That's what I'm fucking sensing with this. Jesus.
Mike, can you think about it? Look at the back of the can. It says to add more lime.
There's too much lime in it. The ginger beer, I like ginger beer, but the lime just overtakes it. Plus the actual chemicals that are in the bleach that are now in this can of Athletic Brewing Company. Again, I apologize in advance, Athletic Brewing Company, but
it is what it is. Hey, they still stayed above a 5, so could have been worse.
Yeah, I don't if I have to rank a beer in the 3 or 4s, it's got to be listen, I'm drinking it, okay? Like I'm halfway finished, but it's not my favorite. It's crisp and refreshing, where it's cold, it's rainy out, probably not the best time to drink one of these. Maybe when it's 95 degrees and you're near the beach, and this actually could hit.
That's what I'm saying. Like this flavor would actually, if you're at the beach, you're floating in the water, I think this would be more of like a 6.5 rather than a 5.5.
I agree. Right now, though, I'm sticking with 5.1. I think that's a fair score.
Yeah, so we did 5.35. That's our official score for this.
This is the worst one we reviewed yet?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Not great.
But,
that's all right.
Someone's got to review them. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to expose these to the public.
We can't just only do good ones. People have to be kept on their toes. Now they're like, oh crap, they actually might do a bad one.
It really has potential though. I feel like it has potential, but it's just not doing it for me right now.
Oh, I just burped, Mike. Have you burped yet?
No, dude. My heart's on fire, bro.
Dude,
Just wait till you burp. Just wait till you burp and it comes. Dude, it's not.
I feel like it's burning
Not
my
great.
esophagus right now.
Well, all right. That was a good show.
That was
a good show.
State of the Union will return next week when we hopefully have more news of the Jets and the Cowboys. But for now, a lot of trades happening. I'm sure something's going to come out before you listen to this probably. You're probably listening to it now. Maxx Crosby's on the Cowboys already, and you guys are like, y'all are morons. But that's all right. We respect being morons. We're the podcast for the morons. So if you are a moron like us, go ahead. Give us a subscribe. Right? Help us to our goal. We got to get to 750 subscribers before the draft. All right? So we got to get this thing rolling. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. Mike, anything to add?
Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't even touch on that. David Montgomery got kicked out. But that's all right. We'll get to that eventually. Mike, good show.
It's been a pleasure. Always. Thank you again, Muller. Keep subscribing, gentlemen and ladies. Keep subscribing.
Peace.
All right, guys.